I caught a few, actually. Yeah, I don't want to brag, but we did okay. Well, you know, David, I guess when you were in opposition, right, and I had just gotten elected to the United States Senate, obviously we come from sort of different political spectrums, but he was kind enough to make time on a visit to D.C. We got to know each other a little bit then and just kept on seeing each other, and our families enjoy each other's company very much, which always helps. But we care about this relationship, and we care about the fact that we're separated by an ocean, and I guess as Churchill said, by a common language, that we have a lot in common, and there's a lot to do and a lot to work on together. You know, David once said to me, this is probably a couple of years ago, that there's this feeling that the world is in a state of incredible tension. And I certainly felt that a couple of years ago. I think that the President of the United States over the last 6-7 months has done a lot to lower that tension, but there's a lot that the United Kingdom and the United States can do, I think, to bring greater peace and greater stability to the world. And so we share that conviction, and that's made it easy for us to spend time together and work on the issues of the day.
Mr. Vice President, some big issues in the Middle East. What do you make of the UK's decision to recognise the state of Palestine? Do you think that's a bad decision?
Well, it's one of the things that we're going to talk about. Obviously, the United Kingdom is going to make its decision. We have no plans to recognize a Palestinian state. I don't know what it would mean to really recognize a Palestinian state, given the lack of a functional government there. You know, what the president has made very clear is our two goals are very simple right now vis-a-vis the situation in Israel and Gaza. Number one, we want to make it so that Hamas cannot attack innocent Israeli civilians ever again, and we think that has to come through the eradication of Hamas. Second, the president has been very moved by these terrible images of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, so we want to make sure that we solve that problem. I think all of us can work on how to solve that problem. Obviously, it's not an easy problem to solve, or it would have already been dealt with, but we share, I think, that focus and that goal. We may have some disagreements about how exactly to accomplish that goal, and we'll talk about that today.
Mr. Vice President, what do you make of President Trump's comments last week about you the likely front runner in 2020?
I don't want to talk about lowly things like politics in this grand house. Come on. Look, I think my view on the politics of 2028 is I'm not really focused even on the election in 2026, much less 1-2 years after that. And if we do a good job for the American people, the politics will take care of itself. So I'm going to try to do a good job for the American people, just as David's trying to do a good job for the people of the UK.
Mr. Vice President, was the President given a heads up about Israel's intention to occupy Gaza City?
I'm not going to speak to private conversations between the Israeli government and our government. I think the President obviously has been very clear about his goals, about what he wants to accomplish in the Middle East, and he's going to keep on doing that. The President, as you know, speaks to these issues commonly. I'm sure that he'll talk at some point to the media about his response to what's happened or what was announced earlier today in Gaza. But our goals are very clear. We want to make it so that Hamas can't attack innocent people. We want to solve the humanitarian problems in Gaza. We're working incredibly hard, the President and the entire team, to make sure that happens. I mean, we've been in constant negotiations and conversations, even the last 24 hours, about how to get more aid into Gaza, about how to solve that humanitarian problem, and also how to get Hamas to a position where they can't continue to threaten the citizens and the civilians of Israel. So there's a lot of work to do there. There's a lot of common objectives here. There is some, I think, disagreement about how exactly to accomplish those common objectives. But look, it's a tough situation. Of course, we're not going to know exactly how to solve a very complicated problem. As the President has said himself, that people in some ways have been fighting for thousands of years. If it was easy to bring peace to that region of the world, it would have been done already.
Mr. Vice President, you've expressed some concerns in the past about free speech in the United Kingdom and Europe more broadly. Do you bring any kind of a message to the Foreign Secretary today on that subject?
Well, I'd say I've raised concerns about free speech in the United States of America. I think the entire collective West, the transatlantic relationship, our NATO allies, certainly the United States under the Biden administration, got a little too comfortable with censoring rather than engaging with a diverse array of opinions. So that's been my view. Obviously, I've raised some criticism and concerns about our friends on this side of the Atlantic. But the thing that I'd say to the people of England or to anybody else, to David, is many of the things that I worry most about were happening in the United States from 2020 to 2024. I just don't want other countries to follow us down what I think was a very dark path under the Biden administration. So in the spirit of having a good conversation, and recognizing the Secretary has a lot of things to do, unless you want to say anything else. Okay. Thank you all so much. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Can I just ask just one more question?
If it's the Foreign Secretary, yes. I'm done answering questions.
Foreign Secretary, the UK has taken a different tack on the situation in Palestine and the United States, do you feel that your friendship with the Vice President might help, have a discussion about ceasefire or not?
You know, Prime Minister Starmer is either meeting